Today's top picks from Reuters Breaking Views. Out of the frying pan and into the fire for Nokia. And WPP should perhaps think about eating a bit of humble pie if it wants to keep shareholders happy. With me now to discuss these stories is Reuters Breaking Views' Robert Cole.
Hiya.
Robert, how are you doing?
Not bad, not bad.
Fantastic. About to get even better. It just goes, but not for Nokia, it goes from bad to worse for Nokia. Shares are down 12% today. Q2 outlook is pretty bleak. Is there any light at the end of the tunnel? Well,
the short answer to that is no, I think. I mean, Stephen Elop very famously talked about the platform that he inherited being on fire. The intensity of that inferno just seems to get greater and greater. I have to say that, you know, having followed this story, over a number of months, I suppose it's difficult to be surprised at yet another set of bad news. It certainly doesn't come out of the blue, but it's still quite shocking to think that, you know, such great problems are still being uncovered, and such sort of shocking moves are still being thought appropriate. It just seems to, as you say, getting bad to worst for Nokia, and sadly, although I suppose one has to say that Stephen Elop is doing the right sort of things.
Well, it doesn't sound like it. I mean,
well, in terms of trying to reorder the business to the changed circumstances, he seems to be playing catch up all the time. So what else could he do? I'm not sure, but it doesn't seem to be getting any better, and success is a very long way from being guaranteed, I think.
Well, they slashed another 10,000 jobs today. That was announced today. Total job losses since he came to power only 2 years ago, 40,000 jobs lost. A staggering amount of job losses.
Absolutely.
Yet it doesn't appear to be doing any good. Certainly not for the company. Well, certainly not for the people who've lost their jobs.
Certainly not. One can be very glib about these kind of job cuts, can't one? One shouldn't be. One should feel for the personal circumstances there. But, if a business is sort of falling apart at the seams and it doesn't need to employ 40,000 people, it shouldn't be employing them. And I suppose what one has to hope that Stephen Elop has at least made the right judgment there and allowed these people to go and find some more profitable lines of work for themselves. But that is an astonishing number of people.
Maybe there's one job that should be on the line.
No, fair point. I think if he's not in the last chance saloon, he's certainly moving towards it. You've got to remember that he was brought in relatively recently. If he's going to be a turnaround specialist, he's got to have some time to do that. So I'm inclined to think that this is not really necessarily about Elop or indeed his plans, but the fact that there are these businesses which just have a shelf life, and I'm wondering whether Nokia is getting very near to the end of that shelf life.
Well, one company and CEO which are intertwined is WPP and Martin Sorrell. Of course, yesterday shareholders voted down his latest pay package. I think it was a 60% rise. Or I can't remember the rise, but he raked in £13 million last year, and he's still unhappy that shareholders have said, hold on a second, perhaps that's a bit much.
Yeah, I mean, I do feel a little sorry for Martin Sorrell, really, which is a strange thing, perhaps unusual in that. And £13 million is a lot of money to you and me and most of the people watching this programme, probably, but it's not, really egregious, it seems to me, for a man who is very, very important to the health of this business. But I think, with this whole shareholder spring thing, I think that what shareholders are doing is not necessarily voting against the thing they're voting against. They're expressing a dissatisfaction. I think here they're expressing a dissatisfaction with probably the centralised nature of Martin Sorrell's power. But it seems to us that the sensible way here forward is for Martin to, Sir Martin, to behave a bit more like an owner. He does own quite a large number of these shares, and if he did take a leaf from his other co-shareholders' book, the value of his own stake might improve quite a lot, and I think that he has to take notice of this this vote. And I don't think it's necessarily to change his current package. I think we can move on, but the policy has to change for next time for shareholders to get the reassurance they want, and perhaps for Martin to enjoy, alongside the other shareholders, the re-rating of the shares.
I imagine Martin Sorrell would have maybe a slightly different response to worker demands for, say, a 3-4% pay rise, a 5% pay rise, perhaps?
I'm not sure that's been part of this debate, but
the point being, of course, I mean, he's in line for a huge pay rise on top of an already massive salary, and yet he's still showing some disquiet.
Yeah, but you also remember that in 1986 this was a company called Wire and Plastic Products. It's now, did nothing notable at all. Yes, it nearly went bust in 1990, was it? Sorrell rescued it from that. Shareholders have made a very large amount of generated a fair amount of value out of his efforts. A lot of these remuneration we talk about do come in shares, so that he is tying himself to the fortunes of the company. But I think that Sir Martin would do well to at least temper his attitudes on this one.
Okay, he's not doing too badly, whatever he does. Robert, thank you very much. That's all for now. My thanks there to Robert Cole. For more agenda-setting financial insight, watch our US Breaking Views show every day at 12:30 Eastern, 17:30 BST. I'm Jamie McGeever. This is Reuters.